Taiwan, I'm Jaime with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's government-operated labor funds saw near double-digit growth in the first half of the year, making up for losses in 2022. The country's labor funds are divided into several plans. The largest of these is the state-managed pension fund. A government agency, the Bureau of Labor Funds, invests the money and tries to maximize the return. Poor performance on global stock markets last year saw the funds lose close to $12 billion. But the Labor Ministry said Tuesday that the funds had grown this year by close to $15 billion as of the end of June, more than wiping out last year's losses. Taiwan unveiled its new Ministry of Agriculture on Tuesday. It's an upgrade of the former Council of Agriculture established in 1984. Calls for an agriculture ministry first arose 35 years ago with a movement led by the country's farmers. But it wasn't until May of this year that the legislature passed a new law to officially establish one. Under the ministry there will be two new agencies dedicated to sustainable development and to animal protection. The government says the top goals are to increase farmer incomes and to ensure food security, especially in the face of the climate crisis.
台湾目前的农产品的自给率是30%几而已。如果未来气候变迁的挑战持续加大，我们没有办法顺利从世界各地购买到我们所必需的农产品的时候，对台湾是一个挑战。所以我们必须要未雨绸缪。
Taiwan's fishing agency is banning the capture and sales of female crabs with eggs as part of a larger effort to protect the animal. With a click of this plastic gun, these crabs are now safe. The tags are part of Taiwan's fishing agency's efforts to tackle the overfishing of crabs like these, females full of eggs, which are called buried crabs. Now their capture and sale has been banned until the end of the year.
这些巡蟹类，后摆嘛是咱家己咧掠，所以这个产业要永续的话，我们必须要做一些保育的事情。
Conservationists hope that tagging the crustaceans will remind fishers to throw them back into the water, and that the tag itself will help them collect information vital to the crab's survival.
这样我们就可以招出它这样回游的路径，然后再去配合我们的海洋因子的资料，我们可以知道，那怎样的海洋因子是会影响它去移动的关键因素？这样。
Although catching these crabs can now result in fines of up to $5,000, Taiwan Fishing Agency hopes that local fishers won't be too crabby about the new rules. For more than 4 decades, Taiwan has stored nuclear waste on its outlying Orchid Island. As Rick Lau reports, it spurred decades of protests from the local population and for many is still unresolved.
When 50-year-old Sinan Jipengaya opened her bar on a quiet part of Taiwan's idyllic Orchid Island, she didn't just want to serve cocktails to the tourists drawn to the island's tropical beaches. She opened her bar with a message to her guests.
我的酒吧叫反河坝，那主要的目的呢，就是我们希望可以传播给不单单是当地人，我们也希望来的台湾人，甚至是其他国家的人都可以知道，我们正在努力这件事情。我们是希望可以把核废料迁出去。
Jipengaya's island lies 60 kilometers off Taiwan's southeastern coast. Also known as Lanyu, it's home to less than 5,000 people. Most of them are indigenous Dawu, like Jipengaya. But this is also where the country stored discharge from its nuclear power stations on the main island. More than 100,000 barrels of radioactive nuclear waste are stored here on the southernmost tip of the island. It was placed here by the government 4 decades ago, without the consent or even the knowledge of the local population. It's pitted an indigenous minority on a small remote island prone to earthquakes and typhoons against the central government, and prompted decades of protests from locals over health risks from contamination. 4 years ago, authorities handed over more than $83 million in compensation and promised another $7 million every 3 years while the waste remains there. The money has blunted widespread protests on Orchid Island, but some activists believe it hasn't solved the problems.
这对我们来讲，就会觉得现在很多癌症的发生，很多疾病的发生，就大家都归咎于整个核废料的问题。可是我们却不知道说到底是不是核废料的问题。
There are also growing concerns that as climate change prompts more extreme weather, the safety of the site could be at greater risk. On their website, Taiwan's state-owned electric company, which operates the storage facility, says it is secure enough to withstand earthquakes and typhoons, and that the waste has not impacted the health of locals. Nuclear power is still a contentious issue in Taiwan. Opposing candidates in the upcoming presidential elections disagree on whether to continue with the country's plan to go nuclear-free by 2025. But for people on Orchid Island, the lasting impact of the industry should not be laying at their door, regardless of how much compensation they are offered.
你们都领了，那干嘛还要反？所以我就会反问他说：“我们领啦，那个钱你要吗？如果你要，我给你，核废料放你家，你要吗？”
Orchid Island is riding a tourism boom. Hotels and bars are opening at an unprecedented rate. As visitors dive into the crystal waters next to the nuclear waste dump, swimming with tropical fish and sea turtles, many seem unaware of the uncertain future and unresolved issues facing the local population, caused by what's stored under the warehouses on the shore. Devin Tai and Rick Lowett on Orchid Island for TaiwanPlus.
Fans of Western classical opera in East Asia don't need to travel to La Scala in Italy. They can go to Thailand instead. Our reporter Joyce Tseng meets a Taiwan-born opera singer who's been coaching talent in Bangkok to become world-class vocalists.
Hearing this, you'd think you're in Vienna or Milan. But these singers are in fact in Bangkok, Thailand, at Heavenly Voice Nancy's studio, run by Taiwanese-born American vocalist Nancy Ping Wei. She's been teaching classical voice for almost 30 years at one of Asia's premier music schools, Mahidol's College of Music, about an hour from Thailand's capital. Her students have gone on to perform in Austria, Japan, France, the US, and Italy, just to name a few places. Nancy was born and raised in Taiwan's central Nantou County, at a time she says when classical music wasn't super popular.
I grew up in central Taiwan, and during that time, it's in school. If you ask around, not many really study pursuing in classical music. I learned singing from my father. In the car, every driving trip, we was singing through from the first minute until we arrived at destination.
After completing her bachelor's and master's degrees in the US, Nancy moved to Thailand with her husband. That's where she found her calling, teaching classical voice.
This responsibility suddenly hit me. I have to do well. Many young singers are in my hand.
Nancy also came to realize that the Thai language actually gave her students a special advantage in learning classical Western opera.
The vowels can go above the letters, below, on the right, on the left. And so this interesting sound of Thai language make it very easy to teach German, French, Italian, English.
Nancy's protégés, like these university students, hope to perform on stages around the world one day, and perhaps even teach students of their own. And nothing would make Nancy prouder than to see her students achieving their dreams and sharing their heavenly voices. Alex Chen and Joyce Sun in Bangkok for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we leave you with the images of the only world's panda triplets celebrating their 9th birthday in Guangzhou, China. I'm Jaime Ocon. Take care and see you next time.